We met almost exactly 4 years ago, right?
I'm Bronwyn Lundberg.
And I'm Sarah Zucker.
We run Yo Meryl, which is an art and animation team.
I guess it is sort of unusual that we live together and work together. I think that will give the viewer enough time to go, oh my God, he's taking selfies in front of his poster. That's so sad.
That's awesome.
We found our Yo Meryl's voice, and it usually is, I often like to think it's like, we're like Voltaire.
Wow.
I know.
Oh my God. No big deal. Who isn't?
Eddie.
Fran and Eddie on
NBT. For both of us, our art and our creative expression, it's just the number one. It is what I live for. It is what I've always lived for. It's when I feel my most myself. It's when I feel happiest. It's when I feel most integrated, is when I am creatively expressing something.
Such a gift to be able to get paid anything at all and to be able to make something that you really want to make.
So we started working together like 6 months after we started dating.
The first project we ever did together was for the Brooklyn Museum, and it was for their Tumblr. A new board member for the museum reached out to me on Etsy about getting a large print of the Lesbian Last Supper. And she was like, I'd like a low edition, and also, I love your art, do you do animation? And I was like, as a matter of fact, I do. I was like, Sarah, I need you. This is definitely a Meryl project. It's writing, it's art, baby animation. They wanted about 8 GIFs that featured celebrities interacting with the art, like Ai Weiwei's bicycle. He had an installation with crabs, and that was in 2014. It was just the beginning. Like, I hadn't done animation in a long time, but I really wanted to just get back into it. So I was really proud of how they turned out.
Yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah.
And it was really exciting for our first sort of big commission together to be something like the Brooklyn Museum, because it was so visible, and we sort of set the tone for all of our work with that, where a sort of waggishness. A question we often ask in our projects is like, okay, where's the line? Usually you find the line because you've crossed the line, and then it's finding how do we come right up against the line? What is acceptable? What is funny? I often find if you cross the line, it stops being funny. It starts being just transgressive for the sake of being transgressive. We've been doing a few series for Super Deluxe. My personal favorite is a series we did called Shows That Weren't.
Yes.
I think we call it's a series of TV trope fever dreams. Like, I love TV tropes. I love, these things that come up in TV shows just constantly. And so it was sort of this idea of like, what if you were, feverish and you had this horrible nightmare of like the shows from your childhood and existing in this sort of nightmare way, like shows that just shouldn't exist. But in that series, it was like we kind of just got to lean into what tickles us.
When a family of rats found their tails fused together by a mysterious ooze, they began a quest to fight crime like only they could. Rat King.
We did cross the line one time with Super Deluxe when we made Catwife.
Yeah, only one time.
Did we tell you about that one?
You okay in there, honey?
I'll be right out.
I think it's funny that to this day, men still, like, if you talk about menstruation or they are still this like, I'm a man, I shouldn't know about these things, these mysteries of womanhood. I imagine this 1950s sitcom when the wife has her period, she turns into a house cat.
That time of the month, huh?
And then she goes under the covers to give him a blowjob.
What's new, pussycat? Whoa, whoa, whoa.
They emailed us back. And they were like, we never have to do this. And we're really sorry to like interfere with you guys and your creative vision. But we can't have a cat giving a man a blowjob.
You crack me up. I have mascara
Yeah, so
running.
that was the one time we got censored.
We pushed it too far.
And so they made us change it. So we just have them kissing instead, which I actually think is more lurid. So thankful we live now. I mean, to be alive now as two women in a relationship, living, you know, relatively autonomously, and getting to like actually express ourselves and give voice to our thoughts and give form to our thoughts. In like most other times of human history, we would have been burnt at the stake or, you know, driven out of town or made to live in a forest with a demon. We met online. Obviously, when you are a woman who dates other female identifying individuals, even in a place like Los Angeles, that's a relatively small pool of people. So you're kind of like, okay, seen her, went out with her, wasn't a good fit, you know, but like saw Braun and it was like, oh, like where have you been? The only night that Braun could go out was a Tuesday at like 11 p.m.
It wasn't purposeful.
Whoa, this girl's crazy. She wants to go out at 11 p.m. on a Tuesday. She's so wild.
Yeah.
Like,
it was the time I was free and I really wanted to meet Sarah. I saw her profile and she had a picture of her with like a hand puppet and another one of her with Alex Trebek. And I was like, this girl is amazing. I really want to meet her. It was the best first date ever. The bar was closing and we still had a lot to talk about. So we took the conversation around the block and just yelled about all sorts of things, like Meryl Streep.
Well, we quickly found out we both love Meryl Streep, and we're kind of screaming. It's like, oh, you know, yo, Meryl, hey, we love you. And that's like where the name Yo Meryl actually comes from, our very first date. I feel like this is like an eHarmony ad, only not, you know, not anti-gay. Like, we're extolling the virtues of online dating can work.
Yes, it can.
Yeah. What works so well about our collaboration, where our longevity as a team and our ability to keep growing as a team comes from, is the fact that we each have really definable roles that are complementary to each other. I love it. 2 thoughts.
Okay.
So I think the beginning part, it needs to stay up on that screen just a hair longer.
I love to draw, I love to make art. I've always been drawn to people who could take an idea and really use their storytelling skills in such a powerful way. And I've never met anyone like Sarah that can do it. Like, she is professional storyteller, writer. And so I didn't know that to the extent that I do now when we first got started.
Now that she's put up with me for a few years.
Absolutely.
Telling my tales.
My pleasure.
I love animation. It does take a lot of time, but Braun is like so amazing with it, and so I'm constantly amazed by how Braun's skills are always increasing, and she always sort of rises to this challenge. Like, anything I can think up, she can make it happen somehow. And we've now developed this sort of mind meld.
I don't know, it's just so seamless.
We did a series for the Center for Disease Control for their Start Talking Stop HIV campaign, which I think was a favorite. It felt good to be creating work for something that was such a great cause, and we got to sort of lean into, like, it was supporting gay activism and embracing that we have this love of gay culture and a campy aesthetic.
We've had the opportunity to do 2 murals for the city of West Hollywood. So the first one was in their new solar-powered parking garage at City Hall. We had 3 nights to work on it. It started at 8 p.m. when everything shut down, and it went until the morning, right before City Hall would open again.
That first mural is called Business Park. It's kind of this clever girl character that Braun painted originally, and we've kind of now gone on to play with these raptors and wigs or other dinosaurs or any like vicious beast in a wig, I think is funny because
Absolutely.
it's like the performance of femininity, you know, like, well, she might be a vicious raptor who will eat your face off, but she has her lipstick, she has her hair. We were fortunate enough to do another banner mural for the city of West Hollywood. They wanted to cover up this construction fence that had been at the corner of Crescent Heights and Santa Monica for years. They were commemorating the 90th anniversary of Route 66, which actually is Santa Monica Boulevard in West Hollywood. So we pitched this idea of these anthropomorphic shoes of every different variety, starting in Chicago, goes all the way to California as it comes up Crescent Heights, and then from Crescent Heights all the way to Havenhurst is the whole stretch of Route 66 through California. And then they loved the concept so much, they actually increased the contract to do the mural continuing up the Havenhurst side of that same fence. So we came up with this idea of having these shoes sort of float away over the Pacific Ocean on this rainbow road, and at the end they fly away in spaceships. We wanted a really fun, funny way to represent people from every walk of life. I mean, Route 66 is historic for so many reasons, and it really was known for being this sort of vision of the American dream, that people could travel Route 66 and sort of everyone was equal. So it was another thing we could like really believe in and be like, this is really great to get to contribute your art to something that's just really historic and the best kind of Americana, the good America. And I really like the series we're doing right now. It's called Panic Attacks. It's these nice little easily digestible concepts, and we're really leaning into like existential bleak humor paired with vibrant colors. It's a series of modern anxieties. It's giving us an opportunity to give our version of holding up a mirror to what's going on in our world. The Cheeto president, he can be the thing that sort of eclipses everything, but we kind of like to also show people things that they can identify with very directly, that's not as sort of abstract in that way. I think we can all relate to social media anxiety. We can all relate to these silly little vanities that we have, and that's where these ideas come from. The rule is almost always, am I making fun of someone? If I'm making fun of someone, it's not good art. Am I noticing something about myself that I'm maybe embarrassed about, or that I recognize is small or petty or vain, and is it funny? Then it's usually good art. Mean is never funny, but kind of like recognizing your own ways of being imperfect or your own ways of being small, which I just find if I'm being anxious, usually it's about something really, really silly, like, oh my God, nobody liked my Instagram post. I guess I should just go jump off a cliff. Like, oh, we're all just such silly creatures crawling around trying to make sense. And that's funny. I don't know, that's funny to me.
Even if it's just a cartoon for Instagram, and that's where we are right now, we're finding avenues to highlight the things that matter to us that will hopefully, possibly just make you laugh for a second. I think that that's so valuable.
I don't think anyone ever tells you that like your dreams don't just happen. They don't just, it's not like you wake up one day and you're like, oh my God, my dream, it's here. It's like, it really is putting one foot in front of the other every day, showing up on the days where you do feel terrible, where you do feel like I have no idea where any of this is going, where you aren't getting any external validation about what you're doing, where you have bills to be paid, where there's so many plates to spin. To manifest your dreams, you have to be willing to do that, and I think we're both very fortunate that it feels like it's starting to get there. We're leveling up to make these things happen.
This is our future. Like everything we're doing right now is what I want to be doing for the rest of my life, but just like on bigger and bigger scales.
I love it.
Cool.